Alright, today I wanted to bring you guys a brand new image that we have of John Frusciante's Rehearsal mini pedalboard. This is the full shot of his board, the entire board itself. The one that we got in the Total Guitar interview was obviously cropped, and it's kind of, I don't know why they'd crop it, to be honest, just show us the whole thing. But my friend that I've recently come to connect with through Unlimited Love and John Frusciante being back in the band, RedHotChiliRiffs, he found the full shot in the Dutch version of the interview in the magazine Guitarist, and he posted this online. And you guys, if you haven't checked out RedHotChiliRiffs on YouTube, his channel's amazing. It's seriously one of my favorite channels right now. All of the covers and stuff he posts are brilliant. They're super well done, and just the overall production value is just incredible, and he deserves way more subscribers than he currently has. So go check out RedHotChiliRiffs. If you guys like my John Frusciante content, you're gonna love his stuff. So please go check it out. It'll be the first links in the description down below. Now, I have tried for longer than I'm willing to admit to you guys to try and find an online version of at least the Dutch version of the Guitarist magazine. And if you guys find a high resolution version of this image online, ideally I was hoping just to find an online version of the magazine and then get the image from there. If you guys find the correct magazine online or anything, please DM me on Instagram, or even say in the comments down below that you found it and post a link where I could purchase it, because I'd love to get a full high-res version of this image. I believe he just took a picture of the part of the magazine as best as he could. I think that's what we're seeing right now. Still is clear enough, obviously, to see settings and what everything is, but just, I'd love a high-res image, so keep an eye out for that for me if you guys can. Now, obviously, we've seen the bulk of this board before, but it definitely looked like there could have been something to the right of that first reverb pedal from different angles that we've seen, videos that were taken and stuff like that. So it's nice to get a confirmation that it is the second reverb set as a more larger reverb. And John mentioned in different interviews that he's using one reverb for a short room reverb and then a second reverb set to be a bit of a larger sound. And it's great that we can see his settings in this image. So if you guys are wanting to try and test out different reverb settings on a John Frusciante board or jamming to some of his stuff or whatever, here you have the short reverb and the long reverb settings that John is currently using. So that's really awesome to actually get out of this image, which we didn't before. I have touched on what I think John Frusciante's current signal chain is in a separate video. It'll be carded up above, and please check that out if you guys haven't, as I go in way more depth than I'm going to right now. But for the record, I believe it is going to be tuner, noise suppressor, then in the loop, the Dynacomp 78 distortion, DS2, SD1, Variac fuzz, the microamp, and then the WH10, all in the loop of the noise suppressor. And yes, I do think John is sticking with running the WH10 after the gain pedals. There's nothing really sound-wise or anything else to indicate that he's not, but you can't also see the cables, and I like to just see pure cable evidence as well as proof, but that's what I'm going with as for that signal chain. After the noise suppressor, I do think that both reverbs are there, then going into the CE1. That is my current theory as far as what this signal chain is, but it is possible that the reverbs could be going in series, obviously, as you can see on here, to just 1 amp after the signal has been split. That is also possible, but I don't think this go around it's what John is doing. If you're wanting to build a John Frusciante inspired pedal board, perhaps your own replica board, I genuinely think this is a great starting point to at least aim for, especially if you're wanting to tackle the new Unlimited Love era. The only pedal I think you honestly really don't need to worry about is going to be that 78 distortion. We haven't seen it used in any live context at least yet. So in terms of how important of a pedal it is, I'm leaning towards it being really not at all, if I'm honest. If you're wanting to build this exact replica board, for example, then sure, go ahead, and I'm sure it's a great pedal. But for the John Frusciante thing, unless we see him actually using it live, and maybe he might throw it on his full-size board when it gets closer to the tour actually kicking off. But until then, I don't really think the 78 distortion is that important, if I'm honest, so I wouldn't really concern yourself with that. As well, I do want to point out again that the Ibanez WH10 V3 that John Frusciante is using is modded by Wilson Effects. It's not a standard V3, and they are not going to sound the same. So you guys, check out Wilson Effects and how he mods the WH10. If you're wanting to get the same wah pedal that John is using, the V3 does not sound like the V1, But this mod that Wilson Effects does to the WH10 V3 makes it sound a lot closer to the V1, and that's kind of the John Frusciante sound, is the V1 WH10. So do keep that in mind as well. And there you guys go. I just wanted to share this awesome shot, the full shot of John Frusciante's rehearsal board, and essentially his mini promotional pedal board as well. All the main bits and pieces haven't really changed again, save for the 78 distortion. This is just more evidence as well to back up that he was using 2 reverbs on that mini promotional pedal board as well, instead of it being a carbon copy, even though the lighting made me think it was a carbon copy on that one board especially, but I think this is just stronger evidence that he was using 2 separate reverbs on that board. So this genuinely, I believe, is kind of the signal chain and everything as well that he's more or less been running, and the main bits and pieces essentially. This is kind of like the core. This is the fundamentals, the bread and butter of the Unlimited Love pedal board. Everything else is just going to be specifics to tackle certain songs from Unlimited Love or past eras like Stadium Arcadium and By the Way. So you guys, if we get any new information, as always, I'll be sure to update you guys as soon as possible. Thank you for all the support as always as well. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys on the next one.